25 minutes to 8. Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Mr. Bode Sowunmi joins us this morning. He's an energy analyst.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming on today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, looking at this reduction, there's a lot of comments going on about it. Why they think, what's the significance of 10 naira? It could have been more. What's your thoughts on it?
I mean, first and foremost, it's something that is predicated on market forces. At the end of the day, crude oil is a commodity, and all commodities are subject to the forces of demand and supply. The prices has gone down. The government, when considering the impact on the livelihood of people, have decided that vis-a-vis the likelihood of the prices going up again, which is very possible and which is being expected, that the price of 10 naira difference will be what can cushion against a sudden increase in price when you look at all the variables there.
But if they had made it more than that, would that not still cushion the effect, even if the price is
Yes, it will cushion
back?
the effect, but you know, the primary thing, like I said, is that they need to make allowance for the circumstances when there will be an increase in price. We don't want a situation where the price suddenly goes back to $100 and then we want to increase the price again. In other words, we're expecting this price to be stable and to run through a sufficient price differentials whenever it arises.
But do you the comments that has come through from Labour and from some other agencies, if the government had spoken to them about it and intimated them saying, well, look, yes, even if we had brought it a little lower, if we plan to increase it, who knows, they might hit the streets. Would that have even helped in any way if they did that?
You know, one of the things about things that come in from government or things that are said is that there are many ways in which people hear facts, and people can decide to misinterpret facts as they are. I mean, there are people who say it's politics. It could be. But the fact is that at the end of the day, a price differential of 10 naira affects the economics of this country and the lifestyle of people. So when people start to, when you want to satisfy everybody, especially people who are likely to give wrong interpretations, you see that you don't actually do your job. So the best the government would do, present the facts that as they are, look for the interest of the people. Then those who want to give whatever interpretation they want will go into it. You can't stop people from thinking rubbish.
What are the facts about diesel and kerosene?
As you are aware, the government has embarked on the Kerosene Correct program. The purpose of the Kerosene Correct program is to ensure that the anomalies and the inadequacies that we currently, that is systemic to Nigeria in terms of price differential for kerosene will be corrected across board. That's from the filling stations to the kerosene that is available to the man on the street and in the rural areas. Because it's a systemic problem, it's not going to change overnight. But those changes are being effected by correcting the system, and the benefits to the individual are coming rapidly.
I think you might want to talk more on this. When you say Kerosene Correct program, what program, from who, and who's...
The initiator is the NNPC. Kerosene Correct is a name that is given to it. The idea is that we want people to buy kerosene at the right price, at the price that is sensitive and sensible for them. That's the general theme behind it.
So you've explained kerosene. I mean, even though I didn't quite understand it, but what about diesel? It's been deregulated. One would have thought that ordinarily the price too would have come down.
Well, as of today, considerations are still being going on. You know, we need to also understand that there are many factors that goes into the final price, apart from the crude oil itself and the regulatory agencies and all. Once the respective offices that are responsible for regulation and for purchase finish their discussions and their negotiations, I believe that the price for diesel will come down as well.
I think for Egwando Tunay, he also has an idea of what's happening in the industry, and he wants you to, if you can, answer his question. He's asking the landing cost at $119 when it was pegged at 97 naira. That why is it that till this moment no one has been able to tell the nation what the landing cost is, so that they can now maybe better appreciate this reduction?
I think first and foremost, landing cost varies because the factors behind it, they vary. First of all, if I'm going to buy fuel from Amsterdam, it's different from if I'm buying it from Venezuela.
But the prices are global, aren't they?
Yes, but I'm going to ship it. And the cost of production in a refinery in Caracas is not the same thing as in Amsterdam. So there are many variables that come into play. It is one of the purposes of government is to ensure that what we can call the uncertainties of market forces can be balanced and cushioned, and then presented, and a final product presented to the people without necessarily upsetting the status quo, as it were.
Yeah, but there are people who also say that the way that they would have preferred, or they think would have made a lot of difference if they had engaged the people, explained the rationale behind this adjustment of the price, because now you talked about the difference in the landing cost, and some of that will tell you, but the global price of crude oil has drastically dropped, and so they think that that should reflect. So it didn't reflect at that time. They said nothing about it at that time, and just an announcement. Do you think people will appreciate it with that singular action?
Well, like I said, the job of government is to do their job. It is left for rational thinking people to appreciate what is done and then to internalize it. But irrespective of whenever the action is done, whether it was done 6 months before, it was done 3 months from now, there will still be people that are not satisfied.
Well, there are people definitely who are rational thinking. Subsidy in government for petroleum products, come also with, landing costs, the extra cost of storage and transportation to whoever it is they need to send it to, and then government pays the difference between the price they have set and the cost that you have to sell, and that's what they call the subsidy. We got all of these explanations in 2012 or 2011, 2012, when the debate about whether or not subsidy should go. So a lot more people have become aware of how it is we actually arrive at the cost of petrol.
Yes.
And it only follows that they would want to know just how much it is that government is subsidizing. Some people have done some digging. On the website of PPRA usually publishes the site, the ex-depot price. Now from 82 naira, which it still had on its site yesterday, people say that it has come down to as low as 74 naira 35 kobo. They say that there's an additional cost, transportation and what have you, storage, maybe totaling about 15 naira or thereabout, 15 to 16 naira. And the government subsidy is about 2 naira 35 kobo currently as the price stands. The question is, do you really think that we still need the subsidy at this rate if it's just 2 naira 85 kobo that government needs to pay?
Like I said, when we need to look at the holistic picture here, and what I'm saying is that crude oil remains a commodity. As of today, we are looking at about $50 per barrel, and the whole world, OPEC and everybody, they are working out a process that will influence the market forces that will make this thing go up. And it is expected that this will go up as far as $80 before the end of the year, and possibly $100. What happens then?
The question is, it depends on who you're asking. Some people still believe that the price of crude oil right now will still drop below $40 per barrel. That's what some people still believe, and it's not just people in Nigeria, it's people abroad as well.
Yes, but the question, like you said, is who you are asking, on what side of the divide are they playing? Mm-hmm. The fact is that energy consumption grows. As the world develops more, there will be greater consumption of energy. In as much as there are renewable energy sources, the fact is we still need fossil fuel. For industries, we need fossil fuel for a number of things. So it's not likely to go down. What is likely to happen is that you are going to have different players needing more of it. there's going to be more consumption in China, more in India, and in the BRICS countries that seek to develop. So at the end of the day, like I said, it's a commodity. It will go up, it will come down. But believe me, it will still go up.
The question is, do you think government was wise? If right now we're subsidizing, we'd be paying 97 naira, and even though everybody was saying that, you know, the price of crude oil has gone down in the international market, which means that the price of the commodities obtained from it should also come down, and so the subsidies that government was paying should have reduced, and so the price should be reduced. The question is, do you think the government was wise, reducing it to 87 naira, when it could have afforded to leave it at a price that, you know, say people can still pay for, but it's deregulated?
Like I said, the 87 naira was arrived at our considerations, and that was why a price reduction was not announced immediately. 87 naira was arrived at with the view that the price could still fluctuate. Based on those fluctuations and whatever savings may have been accrued, the 87 naira will be a buffer. So even if there's a price increase, we don't expect the price at the pump station to increase.
You don't think the government could have dealt with it as it came up or as it crept up, but maybe in the meantime at least have funds to do other things, and doing it in a very transparent manner as to let Nigerians know that these are some of the things that we're saying could happen if we deregulate. Prices don't necessarily have to go up.
You know, I believe that it's transparent enough in the sense that there's no information that is hidden. But one of the reasons why there's regulation in any economy is the fact that you cannot actually leave people solely to the forces of demand and supply. There will be chaos. There comes a point in time where government needs to step in to ensure balance, to ensure stability. Because the forces of capitalism, when unleashed on the people purely, can actually cause destability.
What do you think we should be doing about deregulation now?
In terms of
should we deregulate
downstream
or not? Because at the moment, the prices are not regulated by market forces, are they? That's what the government is.
They are.
They are?
Yes, they are. What has happened, like I said, is that we don't have full-scale capitalism in the sense that they are not leaving everything to the forces of demand and supply. If they do leave, if that does happen, it means that whatever happens, the government cannot step in to protect the people.
So how are they regulated by market forces if the government is the one announcing the price reduction and stuff?
Now, this is it. The price reduction is a result of the market forces that has caused the current crude oil prices to go down, which means that there are costs that will have gone down, cost of production in terms of the cost that the refineries sell to the people who purchase. However, the cost of transportation does not necessarily go down, which costs a significant part of the total cost itself.
But we still have people who are commenting that they're still buying fuel. Yemi says he's still buying fuel at 105 naira in Aba. So when these announcements are done, do they really achieve what they're meant to?
I believe enforcement and policy decisions are different things. What she will be talking about is actually enforcement, which goes to DPR. I also believe that DPR will be hearing this, and it's incumbent upon them to ensure that their responsibility is carried out and achieved.